see you all in the room. Just a little recap for anybody that wasn't in the earlier sessions. Welcome to the new track, which is the Futures track, which is the brainchild of the new Futures Education Committee, which we looked at where we could prepare our industry for the future. We've got Beyond the Bar, Business of Bars, Bar Culture, and we really acknowledged last year that we could introduce a Futures track which would explore all of the topics which would help prepare our industry for success in the future, in the next 10 years. So the format's a little different. It's 20 minutes, really inspirational speakers who have to hone their message and really deliver a strong call to action for us all to implement their ideas and turn them into action so that we can ensure that our industry and hospitality and the places and the ways that we connect in the future are all set up for success. Now, our next speaker is a last-minute addition, very exciting, because Ben here from Australia was not able to join us. And, you know, not all heroes wear capes. And so I want you to give a massive round of applause to Alex Day, who has stepped into the breach to talk to us about the future of technology. Welcome, Alex. Fellow Futures co-chair.
Thank you, Claire.
Smash it, smash it.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, again, if you've been here. There's no place to put this. Can we give a little shout out to Topo Chico for being involved this year? Because, boy, isn't that the greatest thing ever. Thank you all, and thank you, Claire, for the introduction. I'm going to talk with you guys today about the future of technology. This was originally, as Claire said, meant to be a presentation by Ben. Does anybody know Ben here? Yeah, Claire does. Absolute legend. Hasn't been in the States in a long time due to some complications, of which continued and really presented themselves to limit him from being able to join us this week, unfortunately, for some of the challenging reasons that exist in this country. So just wanted to say that out loud. It's unfortunate that Ben's not here. We really wish he were because he's a very inspiring person. And I'll speak a little bit to why I'm up here very much directly inspired by Ben. But you've got me. My name is Alex Day. I'm a partner of a company called Gin & Luck. We're probably best known for Death & Co., originally from New York City. We've got three other locations. We also opened a bar called Close Company recently in both Nashville and Las Vegas. And as of last week, I think, time's a little bit confusing right now. We opened our first hotel in Savannah, Georgia, called the Municipal Grand. So we're in a bit of a growth spurt right now after about 20 years of doing our things. We've also written a few books, Death & Co., Cocktail Codex, and Death & Co. Welcome Home. So between operations and taking our learnings and putting them into the written form, as well as a lot of speaking and education, training, education has become a really, really big part of what we do and often what we fail at. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. But first, the inspiration here. Ben works for this company called Australian Venue Co. Full caveat, we're doing a partnership with them. We're opening 2 locations this year in Melbourne and Brisbane, and we've been working on those for a long time. And when I first went over to look at these sites and chat with Ben, he started showing me what he's been working on, which was this online platform that really had more than just, here's how to do your job from a technical side, but a lot of inspirational content, a lot of opportunity for his team to grow. And this team is huge. They have something like 200 venues. They're opening a new venue every couple of weeks. They've got tens of thousands of employees. And so this central hub that Ben has really been the architect of is the foundation of their education as a company and the baseline by which they then fold into the venues. And it blew my fucking mind. And I couldn't believe that I didn't think of it before. We had a presenter yesterday who said he doesn't really often get angry about people's great ideas that he didn't think of first, but somebody was growing trees into furniture and he got really mad at that. This is how I felt with Ben when I saw his work over in Australia. So I want to share with you a little bit today about the months after that. That have taken me to really examine how we look at our education, bring it back to our team, and what we've done with it. And really what I hope are some key learnings for you all. No matter what your role is within this industry. If you are a bar operator or bartender, server, if you work at a higher director level, if you work for brands, if you work in education in general, I hope that there's something here that motivate you. And really, back to the spirit of what Futures is all about, can make you think about how to take this content into the future, how to take these ideas into the future. So we're going to talk a little bit about where, I don't know why it says 2023. I'm going to be honest. I started putting this together about 11 o'clock last night. Thank you. I'd like to thank Canva and the icon library that you're going to see everywhere in this presentation, because 2D icons are the cutest thing in the fucking world. We're going to talk about hospitality's promise after we talk about where we are and where we're going. We're going to talk about the challenge of education, talk about technology as a bridge and maybe not a solution in and of itself. And then really I'm hoping to share with you some actionable items. So let's do that thought experiment again if you've been here for the last couple of sessions of closing our eyes and thinking of what 2035 is. You can or you cannot, up to you. But imagine in 2035 what it looks like for a bartender or a server or manager to start their shift and what technology they interact with. And I believe there's a future where the digital space really becomes more integrated into their world. It becomes more fluid and becomes a lot more natural and meets them most purposefully, most importantly, where they are as people. But let's go back to today. What is hospitality's promise? I think one of the coolest, most inspiring, most incredible things about this industry is that regardless of background, of language, of education, that many people can enter hospitality and go very, very far. I am proof of that. I started as a bartender at Death & Co. while I was in college and very, very poor. And I worked in dive bars before then, but I really put my nose down and in the space that was the zeitgeist of that moment was able to build a career out of it. And I think that's really, really incredible about hospitality. And now more than ever, we have such an opportunity to bolster that, to give it a greater foundation, to give more opportunity for people's growth holistically as humans, not just as cocktail nerds, which right here for sure in the beginning, but to think about the larger human and to have our educational processes as a company, as leaders, reinforce that. But it's not guaranteed. Education, when it's inconsistent, when it's informal, when it's inaccessible, it breaks that bond, it breaks that promise. And so we really have to find ways and systems, processes, and approaches that can reinforce this. So let's talk about some truths about education. Educating now and beyond. These are just a few that resonate with me as I've been reflective of our team's evolution over the last 20 years of our company. The motivation is different today than maybe it was in the past. It's not a qualitative statement. There's no judgment there. There's no morality there. It is a reflection on the world changing around us and why people come to work, why they come to work for us. Media, how people consume information is sure as shit a lot different than it was 20 years ago when I started getting into this, where I would find any book that I could. I think Wondrich just published his first book at that point, and mostly I was on blogs at that point. Now we have a glut of information out there, good, bad, or otherwise, be it YouTube, be it TikTok, be it all of these resources out there to get information to train and educate ourselves. And meaning, lastly, this, at the end of the day, what has always been the reason why our guests come to bars and we all go to bars and restaurants is also now the reason why people go to work in them, because there's a sense of meaning, there's a sense of connection, there's a sense of feeling more part of something bigger than yourself. And that's a really powerful thing. And so in today's landscape, as a larger kind of business statement, I believe that the guest experience, the Venn diagram of the guest experience and the team experience, and that middle ground right in between them is where we are today and where we are going forward. And both of those have to be equally considered. I will say this is so much fucking harder than just saying it up here. This is about that idea going into implementation, which is the really, really, really hard work. I'm gonna share with you some ideas, but I can't solve that part for you. You do have to like dive in and really put in the work and the time. And also, it is 2025 now, and as we look towards the future of 2035, education is gonna get more expensive. I'm gonna speak really on the operator level right now, but this can be applied everywhere. The labor environment has continues to rise. And a lot of it really started ramping up in the last 5-6 years because of COVID. I, as a human, absolutely agree with so many of these ideas of creating a living wage, providing greater opportunity. And as a business owner, I see the pie changing. The equation is changing. And as we need to invest more time in people, time is money. And so we need to find solutions that can manage that can economize that for the business, that don't work in the same ways we have before, which is very much a person-to-person, peer-to-peer sort of Socratic methodology where it's I'm going to sit with you for 10 hours and work on something. That is proving more and more inefficient as a baseline idea. Not to say there is an incredible merit there. And lastly, education is equity. By educating people, we are giving them a leg up. We are giving them the skills, the frameworks, the education they need to grow. And that also comes with an incredible amount of power. Charlotte at I believe it was the Toast yesterday, Charlotte Voissy shared a statistic from Forbes that 87, Claire? 83, damn it. 83% of affluent consumers ask for their bartender for recommendations. 83%. That is an incredible amount of power that is in the hands of bartenders. And so I want that statement to sit there and percolate in your minds, not only the power as us as operators or bartenders, the people on the front lines, but the power that there is for brands in being a part of this process as well and engaging with it. It only works though if it's systemized, if it's accessible to people, that is to say it meets them where they are, be it their language, be it their technological barriers, whatever it is, and that it evolves and it grows. Stagnation is the death of business right now, is the death of creativity, is the death of the liveliness that are our bars and restaurants and hospitality environments. And we see that every day in every other aspect of life. Talk about a trend, right? The Negroni Spagliato, good fucking God, are you kidding me? Like, great, so cool, but you blinked and it was over with, right? And that is what is occurring now. And we can, I can be an old man and like go, that's terrible, I hate this, I wish there was a little bit more consistency and longevity, but that's not productive because that's not the world that we're in right now. And so how we approach education, training, mentoring has to also include that thought. Anybody ever read the book Range by David Epstein? Different Epstein. Fantastic book. There are so many books right now about specialization and honing in on your craft. And David Epstein's theory, by which he articulates a strong belief, is that range, which is to say generalism, is often the better route than specialization, that those who are generalists, that are able to navigate the world in fluid and multifaceted ways, really are able to execute at a higher level. Totally worth a read. Anyway, love this quote. Our greatest strength is the ability to learn from experience, including the experience of others. So we don't just learn in a vacuum, right? We learn together. I'm gonna get in a little bit to our world right now and our journey and share with you how we've kind of wrapped our heads around a lot of what I just shared with you, the inspiration from Ben and Australia Venue Co. and what they're doing, and others around the world too that are experimenting with this, and what conclusions we've come to, and how that maybe can help you look into the future. As I said, we are expanding as a company. For the multi-venue operators in the room, this may not look like much, but I can tell you in the course of 12 months, this is like white knuckling, like I can't even describe. Right now, we've got a pretty tight team. First of this year, we had 4 venues in New York, Los Angeles, Denver, and Washington, D.C. Total pain in the ass to operate in multiple markets like that, but that's not even the most complicated part. We're now expanding to even more cities and globally right now. And so by the end of the year, we'll be overseeing over 400 employees. We'll have 10 venues open. Our revenue that we manage overall in the entire company will have quadrupled at the very least. So it is huge, but it really is that employee number that I keep returning to as I look at that and think about that Venn diagram of what our success is. So this is what we're thinking about and how we're trying to solve it and what foundation we're trying to set now for the future. I don't know. We're also idiots. We'd like to take on more than we possibly can. And we've had this idea of an online education platform for a very long time. And we've struggled to find a way to bring it to life because this stuff costs money. And what I mean by an online education platform is something consumer facing, something external from our company to share, much like our books do, the ideas that we have, our processes, our methodologies, do it in a visual and engaging format that, again, kind of meets the technological needs of our consumers and our fans. And we are just now about to launch it next week. I should not even be talking about this right now, in collaboration with Citibank. So this is all to say, Citibank, one of the most massive financial institutions on the planet, is backing this idea that bartender education and drinks education is valuable. That is an important thing to share with the world, which is really fascinating. Just note, this isn't going to be launched publicly for like 6 months. It's going to be like kind of beta tested quietly internally. And I'm totally not freaking out about it. And so, in considering all these multifaceted things, we know that we need some things. We need to live up to our team's expectations because we failed at that. What I meant 2 slides ago about failure is many people come to work for us at Death & Co. expecting something that we frankly can't live up to. They think that they're going to interface with me and Dave and Tyson and a few other people on a daily basis and that I'm going to be their mentor. And I've got 400 employees. That's just like a literal impossibility, right? But we also have failed historically at providing an education and a training that meets them anywhere near their expectations. And it's been a struggle for us. So we need to solve that. We need team members who feel confident every day, who have the skills, the knowledge, the resources to look back and be able to find the answers to the questions they have. We need an opportunity for those team members to grow as well, not just to read the initial course material and then move on with their day, but to come back, to be actively cycling within this platform. And managers who feel prepared, that they know what they have to do, and they also have the tools accessible to them. And you would think that those would be intertwined, but they're actually quite different. They're very different approaches to how we operate and manage and lead our teams. And then lastly, accountability. This word, oh my God, it is so overused in our company, but man, is it powerful. That we need systems and processes and modes of communication and collaboration that reinforce personal accountability and systems that help us track it. So what if? What if every venue had a learning library and a clear system for evolving it? What if every role had a roadmap for the future so people knew where they could go based upon their own work? And what if every new employee had a future in our company or elsewhere? And if we were able to accomplish that, how would it look like? Well, great learning in today's world looks very different maybe than it did before. It's short, it's visual, it's relevant, it's repeatable, it's encouraging, it's balanced both online and in person. That's really important, of course, as we all know. And it's connection building, back to that sense of meeting. So technology can be the bridge, and something called the learning management system can possibly be the tool. But I think it's really important to take heed of Ray, right? I've got it here and there. Ray Kurzweil, anybody know who he is? Totally look him up, he's kook. He invented the synthesizer and is also an amazing futurist. Technology is there to teach us, but it's really going to amplify our ability to an exponential degree. There's so much within technology that we haven't explored yet, but this is just a tool. It is only as good as what we feed into the tool. And so I encourage you to look up this thing called the Learning Management System, or an LMS, and there's a lot of them. They are structured a lot of different ways, but most of them have the core ideas that they are improving consistency through training in a digital space that's centralized. It creates faster onboarding and reduced time for competence, higher employee engagement and retention because of these tools, support a culture of continuous learning. Again, that's that growth part of things, and learning adaptable to multiple learning styles. So learning styles is something we talk about a lot. We have to be adaptable to them. We have to, again, meet people where they are. And then data-driven management. We have to be able to see how people are doing. And so this is our ambition, is to take those ideas, bring them together, to have a system that complements, does not supplement in-person training. It supports that growing team. There's career growth involved in it. That is fundamental skills to help people take that next step through courses, through book study classes, et cetera. and that it will meaningfully improve people's lives and their careers. But good teachers, as Adam Grant, like my favorite organizational psychologist, good teachers tailor their instruction to how students learn. Great teachers teach students how to tailor their own learning. And that's really what we want to create in this platform. And this is a quick little preview of the intro version of it that we just launched, which is essentially and there's a dumb video of me, and we'll fast forward through that. This is essentially taking our staff manual and digitizing it, bringing in that space and creating quizzes around it, making it digestible, removing all the flowery prose that I wrote many, many years ago, which no one reads anyway, so we might as well make it much more succinct and digestible. There's a quiz, pretty cool. But also AI. Claire had an amazing talk earlier about creativity, and there were some discussions about AI. I think AI can be an incredible tool for a lot of different things. And in this space, an opportunity to bring together a lot of your information. We are actively right now building an AI bot that takes all of our information, every recipe that's been created at Death & Co., our 3 books, and a lot of other internal information on training, and bringing it into one searchable and cross-referenceable database. We hope we're going to call it Chat DNC, but it is also so hard to do this that we're so not even close to it being ready yet. The hallucinations are incredible. It keeps on making up cocktails that have nothing to do with anything. So it's not ready. But a better tool, even right now with where the technology is using ChatGPT and feeding into a closed GPT all of your documents and just having an evergreen link for your team to go search it. They can find the answers for themselves. They help themselves learn by using this technology. So you can get started now. Oh boy, got to wrap up. So there are a lot of different services out there that you can look at. We use something called, Expand Share. This is part of it. Anyone uses Restaurant 365, which is like an all-inclusive ecosystem. For better or for worse, we are so deep into this thing. If anyone's used it, you know what I mean. But they have a lot of different companies and different services, and this is their one. And so now, because it's integrated in their system, when somebody's hired, and their onboarding then clicks them immediately into the training that's assigned to their position. So again, that seamlessness takes the bureaucratic administrative burden off of our team and gets the right information into our team's hands as quick as possible. Another one I want to highlight, and that system is also really interesting, may not be right for you. Another one, highly recommend looking at Shifty. This is an awesome platform created by a young, enthusiastic restaurateur, owner, founder. I think she's from, I forgot. I've had a number of calls with her. She's so amazing. And she essentially has taken her training approach and digitized it and created this whole platform for menu education, baseline topics that teams need to know. And it's really, really great. It's pretty affordable. And she's also a great person, which you just got to shout out good people doing good work. But then there's also a lot of other ones, including Google Classroom. There's free stuff out there that you probably already pay for. So our approach in preparing all this was a lot of research, of which the only reason I felt comfortable getting on the stage, because I spent the better part of last year doing research, define what you want to teach, draw out how it works, and I'm going to show you an example of that in a second, create a manageable plan for how to launch this. Again, introduce things with intention and go slow. Be prepared. Nothing worse and more demoralizing for your team than rolling out something really slowly. And don't be intimidated by production value. Use your phone. Like, these things are great, unless you drop it on the floor. You can take a video of somebody doing proper jiggering technique, or a screen share of a closeout process, and that is good enough. If you have that resource there, that's great. Don't be worried about overproduction. I'm probably coaching myself right here. And then that leads us to being okay with imperfection. So this is just my mind map of all the courses to that original thing I just showed you, breaking out every single slide. It got real nerdy real quick, but this is just organization, basic. Use a mind map. It's really easy. Just think of stickies up on a board. I know, Claire, I'm working on it. Some best practices here. Prioritize the student's experience. Mobile is critical. That's where our people are. That's where everyone is. They're on their phone, so make sure it's a system that can do that. Take those videos, incorporate multimedia, visual elements. Take pictures, not just long form text, even if you love how much you write. Guilty. Focus on accessibility, languages. A lot of these services like Expand Share will translate, thanks to AI engines, into different languages for you so that all of your team has access to this. And then make sure you get that feedback and iterate on it. So how we get there, 2025, 2035. I think there's 4 steps here, which Claire totally didn't coach me through. We need education to be valued. I think you're all here because you value education. That's great. Proselytize that. Share that with your partners, your friends, your colleagues, because it is important for all the reasons we talked about, cultural or economic. Get bartenders to appreciate the value of it. I think, luckily a lot of us in our industry have great people who work for us, and hire based upon that too. We need brands to buy into it. Again, 83% of affluent consumers look to bartenders for recommendations, and then operators to commit to actually bring these things to life, because it's a lot of work. And that leads us to, this is hard. This is really, really fucking hard, and I'm so sorry if this is something you want to do, because it's going to take you longer than you think, and all I can say is just make it as simple as possible. And that returns us back to the promise of hospitality, that what we're doing here in this industry is providing, I think, a lot of opportunity for people and their growth, of which many of us are a product of. And we have the incredible fortune to be the stewards of people's careers and to make their lives better by way of giving them more tools and access to information. So lastly, if hospitality is about care, education is the highest form of it. I came up with that, and Claire made me put that on there. You can come up with that too, and you can take credit for it. I don't care. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your time.
Wow. Thank you, Alex. I mean, that is incredible. I know that it's in your head and in your heart, but to pull that together and to be able to step in today is wonderful. So thank you so much. We have the future of hospitality coming up next, and I'm going to ask Alex to answer any questions that you might have to the side, or stick around for the future of hospitality, and then both Alex and Sean can answer any questions that you might have after the next talk. So thank you again, Alex. Spectacular work.
Thank you. And my email's up there. Thanks, everyone. My email's up there, alex@generalluck.com or Alex at Death & Company. Both get to me. Instagram. If you have questions, you want this deck, holler. I'll give it to you. I'll take a week to respond. Thanks, y'all.